Recording in progress.
Like so. I.
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Introduction of the board. Martha is online this evening, and then we'll turn it down.
Paula Cirilli. Marie Jimmy.
Yeah, Michael.
Jeff Grandy.
Randy Carmody.
And there.
Appreciate hearing.
There's no agenda revisions this evening. Approval of the board minutes from January 9th.
We'll make a motion to approve this ready. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Student representative report. Carly.
Hi, my name is Carly Tankersley, and I'm a sophomore in leadership. This is my second year participating in the class, and I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to share an update from student leadership. Last month, we hosted winter formals, and even with the snow days this week prior to winter formal, we still sold over 500 tickets. Last weekend, SHS FFA hosted the Mount Hood District Convention. We had multiple students qualify for the state convention, as well as a student be elected for 2024 to 2025 Mount Hood District President and one elected as Mount Hood District Vice President. We are excited to hold the Dornbecker fundraiser again this year, and we have 10 seniors participating. For the first time since 2019, we had the opportunity to tour Dornbecker Children's Hospital last week. This was a great experience for students participating in the program. The performance is Saturday, April 27th, and thank you again for the opportunity to share.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, Mr. Barrett.
Yeah, so as you know, we had an interesting time just a few weeks back. Just want to give you an update on where we were with that. Facilities folks did a phenomenal job putting our building back together. Some still aren't complete. HVAC systems are what they are, so some are still patched together, moving along. I know we trying to get some on some digital controls. We got some pneumatic systems that just don't like to work after 50 years. So we're trying to rectify that right now. Nearly $60,000 already in, 550 man hours. So they put in the work. They continue to put in the work to put our buildings back together. Broken pipes, failed heating systems, damaged roofs, floors, etc. You name it. So I think we were fortunate, given what the rest of the state and other districts had to deal with. I know there are schools in Portland proper that are still shut down, some until the end of March, because they don't have the capacity to get them up and running. And so a number of our principals had to create alternative plans in case they couldn't operate parts of their buildings. They all did that. And then I said, just kidding. We got them all back up and running. So I appreciate their efforts there as well. And our custodial services doing everything they could to make sure that we were going to be back in school and that Monday following that ice storm. So never fun, but there was a point when we had 15. I think we had 15 snow days one year, and so we don't typically add days unless it's really, really extreme. We're at 5 right now, so the number of hours that we need, 990 at the high school, 900 K through 8. So we're well above that threshold still, and unless and until that threshold gets significantly compromised, we're not going to do anything to try to add time to our schedule. On that year when we had 15 days. Mackenzie's here, but Mackenzie's here. We just recaptured time. Some of our buses drop off 20-30 minutes early, so we captured that time for educational purposes. I think we eliminated all of the early releases, and then just for good measure, we were supposed to end the year on a Thursday that year, and we ended on a Friday. So we're not of the belief that we're going to have to add days. A lot of folks still keep snow days in their calendar. We do not, because we think there are other ways to mitigate that. So that was fun. And then only one other thing is for the board, the SUI, the statement of economic interest, right? April 15th. So, guess what, we want to or not? Yeah, it's breaking payments, I think 10 questions or something like that, Trisha. Puts you in the system and then you have to fill out the rest by April 15th. I think it's $10 a day or something like that, if you don't. I don't know, it's probably some fine or something. If you don't fill it out, but. Jay, you look at me like you might push the envelope on that. You just. Yeah, just slide it down, I'll pay it for you, my friend. So make sure you get that done, take care of that. It's whether we like the imposition of that rule or not, something that we have to do. I have to do it every year. It's pretty painless. I don't know what they do with the information after the fact. I don't know anybody that's been found in violation of the government ethics on how much money you make as an agent of the public, I suppose, but I'm guessing maybe it's happened before. Anybody know? Claire, you know anybody that's been? No? Yeah, I don't know. So I guess nobody gets in trouble for it, so just fill it out. All right. That's all I got for you.
Okay, moving on, the citizens agenda, I'd like to remind everybody they have 3 minutes to speak. It looks like several people want to speak about the same thing, so I would request that if you're saying the same thing, you either keep it really brief or have one person speak for the group. So being repetitive, if it gets too repetitive, I'll have to cut it off and not have everybody say the same thing. So Scott Lund?
Oh, Luna?
Luna?
Yeah, I think Wayne. Austin. Oh, did Austin?
Sure. Actually, if it's okay, can I go first, sir?
Sure.
Austin, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a timer up here or do I go a lot? Is there a
Next
level?
week, there's three here, and then I'll hit it, it'll start blinking when we go to the 3 minutes,
Oh my
okay?
goodness, I feel like I'm on a game show. Well, thank you, board, for hearing me. We brought some people with. My name is Oscar Ernesti. My kids are very young, but they will be going to this school district. I want to say I think this is a very good school district. It is part of the reason of why I am here. It is part of the reason why I moved here. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. Again, I'm sorry I'm speaking so fast. I only have 3 minutes. I'm one of the first No Child Left Behind kids. Here I am. I'm 39. I got to tell you, that did not go very well for me. I graduated in the bottom third of my class, and I didn't think I was that smart. But I did know I needed college. I didn't have the money because my family was poor, and I didn't have the grades in order to go to college. So instead, I joined the Army. And I did 2 combat tours, 0 out of 10 stars. I do not recommend for anybody to do that. But when I was there, I did learn some stuff. Before you knew it, I was launching missiles, running X-ray machines, and all kinds of really heavy stuff. Turns out I wasn't stupid at all. I just needed to be sure how to connect things from point A to point B and how it actually worked. And so when I left the Army, I found out that I was really smart. Actually, not a little smart, really smart, like 3 undergraduate degrees and a 4.0 master's from Johns Hopkins smart. But I didn't fit into that old school system, right? And I think that there's a lot of kids who are just like me. That's the thing, is that there's a lot of kids that are like me out there. So as far as like jobs go, I've worked in museums, I've done service industries. I had 100 employees that I managed at one time. But I ended up building cell phone towers using absolutely none of those degrees or skills. And it was actually where I was the happiest. And it was where I was making the most amount of money, building stuff up on a mountain somewhere. When I moved to Oregon, I figured out about all of the forestry stuff here. I'm from the Midwest, right? Trees don't grow like that out there. They don't grow at all over there. They're like 50 feet tall, right? I learned about all kinds of different stuff, right? I'm an old school Captain Planet Miss Frizzle kid. I am an environmentalist through and through. When I got out here, I learned that a lot of people don't understand exactly how it works, and it's much more complicated than sometimes we write it down, right? So I delved into all the forestry stuff. I went to museums, I went to historians, I went down to Grand Ronde and talked to them about their traditional ecological knowledge. Talked to foresters, OSU, USFS, and a whole bunch of other people, hundreds of people, handshakes across the state. I learned about the importance of the fire and forest management that we have. I learned about the 60,000 jobs that are out there. I learned that they're all above average pay. I learned that they're part of an aging industry, which means fast advancement for new people. I learned about the increases in safety and technical skills. I learned that there's all education levels out there. If you have a PhD, there's a space for you out there. If you've got a master's, a bachelor's, or if you have no education and want to walk out of this room out to the forest, there's a job for you too. In fact, you can be making $25 an hour setting chokers. If 19-year-old Austin would have known that, 19-year-old Austin would own 3 houses today, not have a broken back with PTSD. Again, 0 out of 10 stars. Right? Pretty serious. So now what I do is I travel around different schools and I take kids out in the forest and I bring professionals into schools. It's about trees, flowers, owls, and newts. But it's also about saws, it's about fire hoses and excavators. Most importantly, though, it's about lit up faces, busy hands, engaged minds, and people who are actually solving problems. It's excited, engaged kids. And it's for all education levels, and there's an entire community here to help support you create a community for forestry program in this school. And it'll get your kids some good paying jobs.
Wow.
Good job.
So of the other 8 cards or so, is there somebody that wants to come up and speak next, or? Oh, go ahead. Just let me know your name, so I know which card.
Jay Hendershot. Name's Jay Hendershot. I live in Boring, Oregon, just off the Bluff Road. I've been up here all my life and raised 2 kids out here along with my wife. Both my kids did go to Sandy High School. I'm here to tell you about why me, Jay Hendershot, who works for Peterson Caterpillar out in Hillsborough, why I'm here to support the program of forestry. So, pretty simple for me. I know that, so when I was young, I was like a lot like Austin. I'm not as smart as Austin, but him and I are both same in one respect, and that's that we didn't do well in school. When I was growing up, I had a hard time sitting in the classroom, looking at a board, studying out of books and whatnot. But what I was good at was tearing things apart. I found out that my grandpa was the same way. He loved to tear things apart, put it back together. And so I was good at it too. And when I got out of high school, I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to find a job that let me use my hands. And I felt like I was probably going to not do as well in that position because I didn't do it school. So I got into heavy equipment. My dad worked for a dealership. He supported guys like Wayne Stone and Mike and Malley on a different side of forestry, and that's on the equipment side. I started out on the wash rack, worked my way up to parts and service, into the service department. I did marketing of all things in heavy equipment, did sales service, and now I'm the manager of all forest products for Peterson Caterpillar up and down the West Coast. The reason I bring that up is that a lot of people don't understand that the forest industry that Wayne and Mike and all the guys over there are involved in has so many different facets of support to help them do their job. So we're talking thousands and thousands of jobs, and we, Peterson Caterpillar, have the same exact problem that Wayne Stone does. We can't get employees. Big reason is people just don't know about those jobs. I would love to see a program in forestry here at Sandy High School because I believe that it helped my son, Jared. My son, Jared, graduated last year. Strangely enough, he's just like me. He did a lot better in school, but still, he didn't really excel in the classroom environment. What did help him out, though, is that after COVID, he got into a manufacturing classes with Mr. Paul Panula. And his mind went crazy. He welds better than me. He assembles better than me, just flat out loves it. From what happened there, Boeing came in, offered an internship. He got into that Boeing internship. He's now 19 years old, living at home, making $28.50 an hour at Boeing, having a great time. I wish I would have been in that position. And so what I wanted to say is that classes like, programs like the manufacturing Mr. Pinula does, having a forestry program here would allow us, Peterson Caterpillar, Wayne Stone logging and whatnot, to bring kids that maybe just aren't good sitting in front of a classroom, come out and get high-paying jobs that have really good pay. We have vacation, 401k, and we actually have education. We actually pay for education. We actually send kids to school when they're working for us. Thank you very much.
Growing up 135 acres just off the cliff over here, growing up on a farm in Timberland. Working with my hands was the only way I made it through school. I worked 40 years building elevators, so. Does anybody else want anything? Next, let me know.
All right. This way.
What was your name?
Rex Lowler. All right, so I'm a little more prepared, I think. I just want to say thank you guys. First, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Rex Lowler. I'm the Executive Director for Future Natural Resource Leaders, FNR or FNRL. FNRL is a CTSO career technical student organization for forestry and natural resources program study. So FFA or FNRL, just to kind of give you a little outline. I grew up in the forest industry, began logging in high school on our family tree farm, and spent 2 years in the forestry program at Philomath. After college, I started my own logging company, primarily worked on our family tree farm. I not only logged, but actively managed our 3,000 acres in the Coast Range of Oregon. And I continue to work with my family in this endeavor. In 2004, I began my teaching career at Scioto High School, teaching forestry, woodshop, and small engines. The program of study at the time was partnered with AOFC, or Associated Oregon Forestry Clubs. In 2009, when Student Leadership Center Salem lost funding, AOFC ceased to exist. We didn't have a national organization. As one of the advisors to the 7 high school forestry programs in the state, we kept our events going, including our state convention. In 2016, working with 3 other teachers in the Oregon Department of Education, we chartered FNRL. Our first convention that year had 9 programs to study. I served on the board until 2020 when I retired from the classroom and took over as the director of FNRL. There were 16 programs at that time. This year, we have 33 registered FNRL programs, with several more that are providing student leadership through other means. As a member of the forest industry in some form my entire life, I have relationships with people in all facets, in wildland firefighting, sawmills, timber owners, truck drivers, and loggers. The industry has an average age of 55, which means there are many retirements happening and will happen in the near future. We are shorthanded, like I said earlier. Solution to this problem lies in workforce development, specifically focused on the forest industry. FNRL programs provide this workforce. Professional relationships between industry members and high school programs provide a pathway for training and jobs, high-paying jobs. I don't have time to go through all the jobs, but the partnerships we are creating give FNRL members a more direct pathway to high-demand, high-wage jobs. Students that thrive in these programs are the ones who struggle in 4 classes. I started going to lunch my last few years in the staff lunchroom. I was amazed at how many times teachers would complain about the same students in all their classes. Those students were the ones that were leaders in mind. Because they enjoyed spending time in the shop or out in the woods, they would make sure they were caught up in their classes so they could spend more time in mine. In closing, there's no downside to starting a forestry and natural resources program of study. You'll see higher graduation rates within your struggling student population, and those students will bring a sense of pride to your student. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's 3 minutes exactly. So. And guys, this is just a coincidence. I'm wearing this Captain America shirt. Like I did not do this on purpose.
So, what was your name?
Hair thoughts. It's crazy to me the coincidence that I'm a Captain America suit today. Well, greetings, everybody. My name is Eric Phelps, and I'm here to talk on behalf of the lower levels of education. I've been a teacher now for 12 years. 11 of those have been at the middle school level. I recently moved out to Sandy 2 years ago with my wife and children, and I've been given, as a couple months ago, the wonderful opportunity to teach 2nd grade at Mass Elementary. It's been a dream come true. Now, when I first started teaching, I honestly thought that every one of my students would go to college. That was the dream that I had, so that's the dream that I was told, and it actually came true to me. But after that first year, I really realized it's not for everybody. And after those years, I realized that I was giving terrible advice to my students. I would tell them, don't go to college. Unless you are entering a field where you need that college degree, unless you can afford to go to college without that overwhelming amount of tuition, don't go to college. And guess what's happened? I've run into a few of those students now, and they're mostly working in retail. I truly feel if they knew about programs like having a forestry program at their schools, knowing that they could get into jobs in fields that would get them a really decent starting head salary to their lives, to their futures, to their prospects, those students would be thanking me today for the education I gave them instead of just for making middle school slightly enjoyable. Now, that was not always my best advice, and I really think that I can do a better job now that I'm working with 2nd graders. Because I tell you, these 2nd graders that I work with, the school, as we've heard so many people today, those walls are not for everybody. There are so many students who are tactile. They need to work with their hands. They need to be outdoors. And just telling them that college is the answer, just go get a college degree and that'll solve it, it's not something that's going to work for them. And that's why I'm here today to speak on behalf of having a career in technical education and forestry. I truly believe this is something that will help young people who might not understand that they have a path they can go towards. It's a path that we can give them. It's something we can offer as an option for their future, for their self-worth, for the community at Sandy at large. I really truly believe that I'm not here for my current second graders. I am here for my future second graders. When they become students in high school, I would love for a program like that to exist here at this school so that they can become better stewards of the earth, so they can become better versions of themselves. And I really truly believe from the bottom of my heart that having a forestry program at the school is something that will help them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Comment between speakers that if you guys don't mind giving Tricia your notes, she would appreciate having access to your notes so she can everything up. Either hand them to her afterwards or email them or something, but it gives her a better chance to
Email would be.
So I have 5 more. Does anybody want to volunteer to speak next?
All right.
My name is Dakota Rents. I am not from here at all. I am from Milwaukee, Oregon. I'm a student in the Save and Schellenberg chapter. The Save and Schellenberg is a technical center. It takes 5 high schools from around the district and puts them into one. Its job is to give students a career technical education. Now, why am I here? Why did I decide to take a 30-minute drive this night? Great question. I should be sleeping. I'm sorry. I'll do my homework later. Anyways, I decided to make this drive because I firmly believe that this school should have a shot. At this. Why shouldn't I? I'm a student who gets a high GPA. I have a great GPA. I've got a full ride to college. It's all set. But why do I care about other students? Because I took this leadership opportunity that FNRL gave me through forestry to come here, to come talk to you, to help grow trap people. Because what does it really matter to me if I graduate college and just go to trap? Well, I succeeded in life, I guess, by standards. But it's not really what I want to do. And I learned that. Through my forestry program, I was successfully able to put my hands on dirt, grab an axe. I didn't even know how a chainsaw worked before I started that class. Gosh darn it, I can fix that chainsaw now. I didn't know how to sharpen that chain. I didn't know they had a chain until I started. You know what I mean? Hey. Now, with these skills, why does it really matter? Well, the option's there now. All these people in this crowd that I came with today have great jobs I could take right out of high school. I might even just take them. Because they pay competitive. You know, I can get a degree and make the same wage, but what's the fun of that? What's the fun of not just spending all day in the forest and having a good time? So why does Sandy need a chapter? Because it allows students like me to see the world. I'm from Milwaukee. That's a city. That's a town. Forestry isn't really an option unless you get to go to a forestry chapter, a forestry program. Then you get to see what the world really has to offer. You get to put your hands on a saw, you put your feet in a tree, you get to fall a little. You might not catch yourself the first time, but you'll learn the second time. The ground hurts. And with all these things combined, it's really taught me one thing. Other schools need this because no one else is going to do it. I'm not asking you to believe me. That would be cynical. I'm asking you to take my word and allow students to experience their own 2 minutes. Thank you.
I can come up.
Scott, yeah.
So my name's Scott Luna. I work with Mike O'Malley, who's my boss. I've been a member of this community for my whole life, basically. I grew up in Boring. I coach at Barlow High School for little kid wrestling. And then when I met Mike, I knew Mike for a while, and then his son came and started wrestling for me. Mike offered me a job about 7 years ago. I've been in several different labor jobs my whole life. I never imagined that I'd get into forestry, right? So when Mike hired me to just run his firewood division, it panned out that we do a lot more than just firewood. So, we went out, we do a hazard tree removal, which in turn, the ice storm. So the ice storm, all these trees fell, we go out, we take them off we don't take them off the lines, but we take them off the side of the road. We take anything that's gonna land on the wires, and work for ODOT a lot and the Forest Service when the forests burn, we go out and we cut down the hazard trees. And I never thought that I would get into something like that and enjoy it. And I really do enjoy it. It's a great opportunity for all these kids to get into something that like these other guys were talking about, something that they can get dirty on. Boys love to get dirty, right? They love to.
My girl does.
They love. Yeah, they love to cut the and girls too, because now there's girls wrestling and I coach a bunch of girls wrestlers. They're super tough. The girls are tough. So, but you know, there's so many different jobs that I've learned and working with the Forest Service people and the ODOT people, and there's just so many different jobs that I never even knew that forestry had. And it's just a great opportunity for young people to be able to get into something that they can enjoy. And it's really a good industry, and I enjoy it a lot, and I wish I would have got into it as a younger man, but I didn't. And like the last guy said, 55, I'm 58. Okay, so I don't have much left in me, and I'm a hard worker, but my body, because I'm an old wrestler too, and my body hurts. But it'd be a great opportunity for a lot of kids. So hopefully you'll get the forestry going. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Valerie, you want to go next?
This is a tough crowd. You guys hear me?
Yes.
It's hard to follow because there's a lot of professionals in the room, and I was like, what do I have to contribute? So I'm gonna give you my expertise. I've been in youth, my career has been in youth development for over 10+ years. I've been in Sandy for 5 years, living and working. Worked at Ant Farm for 5 years as a director. I have a grandson that I'm raising, who's in Sandy grade from kindergarten, and he's in 5th grade now. So I actually have a lot of relevance right now, but I want to bring my expertise to the table. The youth in this city, what they're facing. There's a lot of youth with autism. There's a lot of youth that are being left behind. So as soon as they hit 18 generation, parents are like, oh, I've seen people move to Hawaii and leave their kids behind. I'm like, okay, that's a long distance, right? I see a lot of houselessness, and it doesn't look normal as like the urban setting of houselessness. I'm watching kids live in barns out here, living in garages, lots of domestic violence. A little bit about my background. I am definitely didn't graduate and was not a good student and didn't understand even what a mentor was. I am living proof that you can make it and that you can overcome all these things. I do not have a formal degree. You should never say this. I am in my PhD in my work field. I do consulting. I have my own consulting firm. But what I learned about the forestry, so I'm not from the country parts at all. I'm not from Oregon, but I have learned statistically, I've spoken at forestry conventions, and statistically, if you are not exposed to nature and the woods, your mental health as you grow older declines. So youth of color, right? I'm a Latina, so Black youth of color that don't have access or don't even know about forestry at all. I didn't know what a dead tree was, and I didn't know it could kill you until I came out here. I don't know who knows NUPA in this room. I know quite a few of you. The learning garden that's right there by Tollgate. I walked through that garden the first time when I first came to Sandy, and I had the biggest culture shock when I came out here. And I didn't understand the value of the dirt. I didn't understand the value of plants. I didn't understand the value of forestry. Your high schoolers are struggling. They're struggling. I didn't think that COVID affected people that much, but it really did. And they're struggling with identity and they're struggling with acceptance and they don't know what to do. I sit on your CTE committee here at the high school with other people. I sit on your Chamber of Commerce as a board member. I'm very active in the community, but I think what I just want to bring to the table is it's imperative that our kids have opportunities and understand that there's more for them than just what we think should be happening. Thank you for your time tonight.
Hello, Mike O'Malley. I'm president and owner of O'Malley Brothers Corporation in Boring. I grew up here in Sandy, born and raised. 2 generations, 3 generations now of O'Malley's have been here. We've always been involved in the community from a business standpoint. I'm here to talk about like the death of the vocations. Over the last couple of generations, you know, we haven't put our kids in the positions to go out and do the trades. We tell them all they need to go to a 4-year university. That's the only way you can get anywhere in life, and that's not true. There's so many kids that are spending years and years of their life and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a useless degree, and we can't fill the jobs right here in this town. And we need to bring those vocational programs back. And you know, I'd love to see a forestry program implemented here at Sandy as a start, and then, you know, get it in other schools throughout the district and the state. Our biggest problem of my business is filling the aging workforce. You know, my average employee is about Scott's age, 55 to 60. When those guys are gone, not only are those jobs vacant, but that knowledge is gone. And it's going to be really hard to fill those roles if we don't start getting some kids in there now. We're coming together as an industry, you know, to make some things happen, and we need support from the school district to get kids involved in this, to let them know what's out there. And you know, it starts here. So thank you.
Appreciate the comments. Okay. No.
It's okay. I'll share. Okay.
Good, sir.
Hi, I'm Wayne Stone Logging. I graduated from Sandy in 1973 along with my wife Debbie. My daughter Morgan and son Zach also graduated from Sandy. I went to Clackamas Community College for a couple of years and worked in the woods, and I bought a log truck when I was 22. And then we incorporated into the logging business 1983. At one time we're up to 40 employees, and now we're down to about 25. So Austin, who spoke first, has done a real good job getting things going to try to get forestry program going here. So in our eyes, just like Mike said, we need employees. So I'm going to use my son-in-law Andrew's a little example. So this I handed out is a tough job. We did 2015 right up here is boulder sale of boulder crate. So we had to line up 3 mid supports and a tail tree coming down, cable logging and a 10-foot tower coming downhill. And that article was by Steve Weimer from Forestry, Oregon State. He's not really sugarcoating it. I mean, it was. So Andrew and my daughter met at Puget Sound. They both got a degree in exercise science, and then so Andrew was running a strength and conditioning clinic in Phoenix, and he thought you know, and then he kind of found out he wasn't a real people person and just didn't. And so I said, well, Andrew, just come to work. So they moved back there. Andrew, just come to work, you can get a better job. And what year is that, Andrew? Oh, wait, so he's been. And my son Zach, I actually tried to talk him into going into construction management. Made it a little bit easier life, but he didn't want to. He wanted to law, so that's the thing. We need employees, and there's good jobs. I mean, it's a lot of it's hard work. We'll start a guy usually out in the brush, setting chokers, but they can work their way up to run some of these machines for $1 million. You know, they can work their way up to running a machine like that. So I'll give you one example. So last Thursday, two kids came down, and one of the things they were doing was running an old logbook. So the one kid was up there running this old kind of log loader, and he was doing pretty good. And so he sat down, I said, okay, show up at 3, you're hired. 3 in the morning. And so then he said, well, I would if I was old enough. I said, how old are you? He was a freshman. I said, well, I'm back in 4 years. So, anyway, that's it.
Appreciate all the comments. I normally don't respond to the citizens agenda, but just FYI, we did keep a lot of CTEs in my time on the board. We built a new high school, we kept a lot of CTEs. Unfortunately, timber and logging hasn't been one of them to date, but it has been on our radar. So we have definitely tried to keep options open for the hands-on students. And I'm surprised nobody put a plug in for the Oregon logging show in a couple of weeks down in Eugene.
We'll all be there.
We're a little bit on time, yeah, we'll be there.
Anyway.
You can come and watch a bunch of high school students do a cool relay, bro.
Yes.
Moving on to certified staff. Sorry.
Good evening. Educators have wrapped up semester 1 and report cards, and we are diving headfirst into the second semester. We look forward to continuing. We don't have much to report right now, but we would like to share that we look forward to continuing our discussion with the district regarding the changes to grading at the secondary level. We realize this is a complex issue, but we wish to express our desire to continue the collaborative process, which we believe is always the best path forward for all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. Assuming there's no classified speaker, there normally isn't. Consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action items. UNR Jazz Festival, out of state travel. Rob.
Hi, thank you. It's been a few years since we had the opportunity to take these kids, obviously, since pre-COVID, so we've got a jazz band offering back this year. We had about 7 kids, 2 of which are seniors, kind of their last opportunity, and they are absolutely beyond professional level, these guys. So this represents one of the best opportunities to get them training beyond what I can give them for a pretty low impact trip, just a couple days away, to Reno. Just meeting those guys here at the University of the Jazz Festival. That's our request.
Any questions for Rob? I'll entertain a motion to approve the travel.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Rob.
I promise we'll crash one of your meetings and play a little for you later.
Spring training out of state travel care.
Hey, Garrett Lubert, athletic director at the high school, just trying to look for a request for the baseball team to go to spring training in Arizona this year, like Rob said, with a similar. We would have these occasional trips for our students to go and kind of enhance their learning and their experiences, and haven't been able to do a whole lot of it since COVID, so it's the first time we've done it in a long time. Fully funded by the kids, great experience, I've been on the trip myself. Just looking for board approval, we cannot play for you guys if you know.
Any questions for Rob?
Need prospects or?
Prospects? Yeah, it should be a really good team. We have a couple kids who've already committed to going and playing college, so. So if you get a chance, come out and watch play, it'll be fun.
I'll entertain a motion to approve. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
2004 or 24-25 budget calendar, Tim.
Greetings, it's never enough to live as a present. I am already deeply committed to the future. What you have in front of you is the budget calendar for the process to establish the budget for the 24-25 school year. And we do this every year as an opportunity for you to see that we have a clear path to get that budget set up and adopted, and for you to be able to commit to the dates necessary to do that. I would call two things specifically. Critical meeting is on April 1st, is a budget workshop. It's essentially a workshop that we have on the board. We invite the budget committee to attend as well. And it's an opportunity to kind of look where have we come from, how's the current year going, and we set the table for what are we looking at for the ensuing year's budget. And then following that, we have the first proposal of the new year budget on April 30th. I will tell you that that's a push for me. The web of funding from the state these days is becoming increasingly convoluted, and it takes an increasingly significant effort to put together the commingling pieces that affect one another. And this year is one of the more complicated that we've experienced, combined with accelerating costs and some challenging funding from what was committed to school support formula currently. So that said, we'll still put it together. That's the plan, dates in front of you. And again, we would ask that you would take action to approve this so that everyone would be on the same page once this is done. We'll share this on the district webpage and share it with the budget committee.
Any questions for Tim? We have budget open or budget member openings again?
Yes, we have 2 or 3 positions open currently.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the budget calendar. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Supplemental budget appropriation.
Yeah, so this is a housekeeping item with regard to budget. And so when we put the budget together in any given year, we don't always know what our final funding is going to be. And in this particular case, one of our components is an ever increasing item, which is the SIA grant from the state of Oregon, targeting at some very specific things. At the time that we adopted the budget, we did it based on the estimates that were put out from the Department of Education for that grant. Subsequent to that point, well into the new year, they updated their final allocation information to school districts, and it was a very significant change. For our district is $600,000. That's not insubstantial. So that said, what we built our budget on does not have so we can get money all day long. If we do not have the budget authority to spend it, we cannot spend it. And so we certainly haven't gotten into far enough in the year where we're needing to spend this yet, but we do have a plan. We will run to that point. So we are simply asking the board to exercise the authority under budget statutes which say that if there was a grant gift or request that was received into the new year that could not have been anticipated, because we could not have anticipated, we went based on what the department said, that it gives the board authority to basically increase their appropriations to recognize that and go ahead and spend it. The grant itself, I believe, I wasn't here at the January meeting, but my understanding is that The plan for the SIA was shared with the board at that time, and so I'm not going to go into what are you using the money for, that was already covered at a previous meeting. So we simply need to do that housekeeping item, exercise that budget authority under statute and give us, increase the appropriations necessary to spend funds.
Any questions for Tim?
And I have a resolution in there that captures it, so you don't have to read the resolution, you can just do my title.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So it's been moved and seconded to approve the budget appropriation. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Tim.
I appreciate it, stay tuned for the budget.
State guidelines, local service plan for the Clackamas CSD. Very good.
Good evening, thanks for having me here tonight. As you said, I'm Larry Didway, Superintendent for Clackamas CSD. And with me here tonight also is our board member, John Hyman, who's probably a familiar face to you. And this is our annual meeting when we come and share with you and present our local service plan for the coming year that's designed to serve all 10 of the component school districts in Clackamas CSD. We have provided you with a packet there with some documents. Before I launch into those, I do want to express a few words of thanks to a few of you. Beginning with your superintendent, Aaron Bear, who is a very valued member of our regional superintendents group that meets regularly. We share information and collaboratively address challenges, and I always appreciate Aaron's counsel and his sense of humor. Communications leaders, Julia Monteith and Garth Gubert. Last name. Is that correctly? Yeah. He's so funny. Okay. And the teams at Boring Middle School and Cedar Ridge Middle School, led by principals Morgan McGregor and Nicole Johnston, for helping us create a very meaningful celebration last summer and fall for our 23-24 regional and state teacher of the year, Mandy Vance, who was selected from a record number of nominations that were received regionally and statewide. We also want to say thank you to Rachel George, Director of Elementary Programs, and Cassidy Hopkins, Principal of Sandy Grade School, for their partnership and support of our Head Start to Success program that's held in your district. In the local service plan document that looks like this, on pages 10 and 11, you will see several other Oregon Trail School District professionals that are called out, who meet regularly with their regional colleagues to in advisory groups that are facilitated by Clackamas CSD. And we appreciate their commitment to that collaborative work and meeting with their peers across the county. We also want to take advantage of the opportunity to express our thanks to you, school board members, although I'm just a little late. January was School Board Appreciation or Recognition Month, and we are grateful for your leadership, your dedication, and your service on behalf of the youth in this community and public education in general, not only in January, but all year long. And as a token of our appreciation, you should have a packet of note cards, I see them here, note cards that are featuring student art from our 2023 Clackamas CSD Regional Art Show. And I also want to extend an invitation for a member of your board to serve on our Clackamas ESD Budget Committee, which meets in May every year, and we review and approve our annual budget. And DJ Anderson, former board member here, was a long time chair and member of our budget committee until his retirement from the board here, and we would welcome another Oregon Trail representative on that panel this year. And you can let your superintendent know if you're interested and willing. A few things I want to share with you about the documents. I'm going to talk about 3 of them. Only one of those is for your approval here tonight, and that's the local service plan. The other 2 documents, a fiscal report and an annual report, are just for information. The 24-25 Clackamas Education Service District Local Service Plan is a plan that's developed annually, and it is required by the state of Oregon. And it reflects a productive partnership between Clackamas ESD and all 10 of the school districts that we serve. It is a comprehensive review of all of our services, beginning with resolution services, and those are services that are provided to all 10 of our school districts. Those are in the area of special education, technology, data, and teaching and learning support, as well as direct revenue that comes back to you that can be applied to ESD services of your choice. It also reflects contract and grant services, and that covers mainly the areas of early learning, additional special education programs, technology programs, and teaching and learning services, and multiple student support services and district technical support services that are provided through the Student Success Act funding, part of which you just approved for local spending as well just a minute ago. The local service plan has been approved by all 10 our Clackamas Chief Administrators Council, which includes all 10 of our county school district superintendents and the president of Clackamas Community College. And it's been approved by the Clackamas ESD Board of Directors. And it's here tonight for your review and approval. The other two items that are with you have in your possession are a fiscal year review. It looks like this. And it's just a detailed report for your district that indicates the overall value and services that were delivered by Clackamas CSD and highlights some of the key services that we've provided. And that's for the 22-23 fiscal year. Your prep packet does include reports from all of our 10 school districts, not just the details, but I do want to highlight a couple things from Oregon Trails report. There was more than $5 million in total services provided, which is an increase of about $700,000 from the previous year, and more than $1.1 million in revenue that was funneled directly back to you, which is also up about $250,000 from last year. And it reflects a vibrant set of partnerships in early learning, and including a free preschool program, service to migrant youth, enhancing STEM learning opportunities, support for multilingual learners, providing special education services to students with very complex needs, supporting school nurses and counselors, and helping address students' mental and behavioral health needs. It also provides a range of data and technology support. We hope the format of this provides you with more context on the many ways that Oregon Trail School District and Clackamas CSD partner with each other to serve students and educators and families. And we would really welcome your feedback if you have any on how we can make that report even more useful to you in the future. And then the last document that you have before you is an annual report, and it's titled At Your Service. Looks like this. And it just covers roughly a one-year period from the fall of 22 through the fall of 23, and uses data and storytelling to provide more information about what Clackamas ESD does and the impact that we have in our region. And I would particularly call your attention to pages 34 and 35 of this report, because it does feature regional and state teacher of the year Mandy Vance, and we were very honored to be able to recognize this amazing teacher in our district this year. And we hope that this report is also useful for you, and if you would like to see any specific information in the future included, we would love to hear about that as well. And with that, I'll pause and see if you have any questions.
Any questions for Larry? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
The motion that we threw the local service plan for 2024-25.
For a second. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Larry, very much for the partnership. No special items this evening. February 22nd is a board workshop. March 5th is an OTA board meeting, and March 11th is our next board meeting. We're going to recess and reconvene an executive session in say 5 or 10 minutes. So once we can get things cleared, we'll come back in exec session. Thank you.
Marjan, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, I'll send you a separate link to join exec session. So look for a link in your email here in the next 5 minutes.
Appreciate you coming.